It's amazing how quickly people will react versus respond when you use a word that they don't like. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and asking myself, where have I looked at conversations that people have had or word choices that they've used that have offended me? And if I chose not to be offended in those moments, what could have I learned had I opened myself up to the possibility that maybe there's something I can learn here?
Well, just to add to what you said, I mean, I can't help but think like we don't even look at why we're mad about it. Right? So like that's level one. Level one is, oh, understanding your perception and your perspective versus mine and being curious to seek to understand, right, before being understood. And then the other part is, why is this making me mad? Why am I getting upset? Why am I triggered? Why is my heart rate going up? What does that say? What interpretations do I have? How is this tied to my identity that I feel threatened by this? Like, and I find it fascinating. It's just another indicator on the dashboard of whenever we get triggered and we're upset about something. Why? Why are you getting mad? And what does that say? And is that and should you or should you not? Being empathetic and understanding yourself, let alone other people, is it's really interesting how we do things like that as humans.
I think it's a good question. Maybe it's maturity, maybe it's having my own battles that I've wrestled with specifically over the past several years, where I've really had to do a lot of self-reflection on the way that I was showing up, not only for my family, but for everybody, you and people listening to this podcast, and the way I'd show up on social media. And to be honest, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about the way that I showed up for my family. I'm embarrassed about the way that I even showed up here with you at times, or the way that I showed up for people on social media. And I noticed myself getting triggered a lot, and resorting to insulting and demeaning and demoralizing responses that had nothing to do with the actual discussion at hand. And I've really tried to become more aware of that. I'm not perfect at it. I think I'm doing a lot better. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But what's worked for me is when I notice my blood boiling and the temperature is getting a little hotter, is just not responding at all. Not reacting, maybe even asking a question as opposed to making an assertion or an assumption. Assumptions have got me into a lot of trouble. So really working on being conscious of how I respond to people in a way that fosters discussion and dialogue, not tampers it and cuts it off at the knees.